Hello and welcome to Light Guidance 9 time, number 2. And tonight, well, it's nighttime for me, just about anyhow. I think it's around 8 o'clock. The topic is the minimum effective dose. In case you're wondering what that means, the minimum effective dose is the least amount of something that you can do to get the benefit or the desired result. For instance, the first thing that came to mind as I was just thinking about this particular topic was sleep. And you want to be sure you get enough sleep. Too little, not effective. Too much, not effective. Too much sleep can actually get you. Often I know if I sleep too much, I actually feel kind of foggy the rest of the day. Sometimes I have a slight headache. I've read that it actually can help push you towards becoming depressed. So, too little sleep, you're not at your best. Too much sleep, you're not at your best. So the minimum effective dose. Now that's going to change, based on your stress levels, your activity levels, where you're at in life, what's going on in your world. So it's not a fixed number. But if you pay close attention to how you feel, you'll kind of get a good idea where you need to be for most situations, as life goes on. Another area that comes up, going kind of in order of importance of things, is your nutrition and your eating. Again, the minimum effective dose. To eat just enough to satiate your need so that you're not feeling hungry anymore, and then also to nourish your body for the fuel requirements that you'll have for the day that you have, in front of you, and just keep you feeling good. Now, if you don't eat enough, you'll be undernourished, you'll be underfueled, you'll still feel hungry, you're not going to be at your best. If you eat too much, same thing, right? You're going to be overfull, you're going to have that kind of bloated feeling, you're not going to probably feel that great, you might even be a little uncomfortable. And you actually, anytime you eat, in a basic operating going around state, your digestion is one of the biggest parasitic loads your body has. Now, if you start running or doing a bunch of heavy exercise, it will actually shut down digestion so the energy can go to, where you're demanding it. But if you're just in, normal cruising around day-to-day operations, it's not overly physical, then digestion takes the most energy, which is often why after a really big meal, you'll be a little bit lethargic because a lot of energy is going into processing that food. So again, minimum effective dose. Just enough to nourish yourself, just enough just to feel satiated. You don't even really have to feel full. You don't need to be full, you need to be nourished. Too little, not good. Too much, not good. Minimum effective dose. Next place this comes up, and this is where I was introduced to this particular idea of minimum effective dose, is an exercise. If you completely just do 100 reps of some, heavy exercise, chances are you're actually going to overdo what's necessary. Depending on what your goals are, if you're training for endurance, if you're training for bursts of speed, if you're training for strength, if you're training for flexibility, there's the ideal amount of exertion, of, perceived exertion over time, of duration of exercise. There's an amount where you get there where it's good, and less than you don't achieve what you need. Like in a strength workout, you want to go to the point where you get some, a failure. You want to break down tissue so that it will be actually, rebuild and create more. Too little, you don't get there. Too much, you actually could injure yourself to the point where now your body's, getting too much of a stress on itself where it won't even repair, in ideal fashion, because it's repairing, an injury instead of just an overuse. So again, and same thing with your longer endurance type stuff. If I've never run a marathon, but I know people that train for them, and they don't run a marathon every day to train for it. They kind of scale up to it. They'll do some short days. Have a good long day a week, and they kind of peak into some training spectrum, and then hopefully taper off, rest, and get to a place where they need to be for their big race. So that's another place where a minimum effective dose is a key thing. So, it's minimum sleep, not too much, not too little. Nutrition, not too much, not too little. Exercise, same thing, minimum effective dose. And all this is it's smart management of our time, smart management of our resources, and an efficient use of what we're doing. Even next thing came up as I was thinking about this is say, it's summertime, you're getting out in the sun, maybe you want to go work in your tan. Well, you're probably better off going 15 to 20 minutes 4 or 5 times a week instead of an hour and a half one day a week, especially that first time out. You're going to get burned, and you're not going to go for a while, and then you're going to peel, and you're going to be back to zero. So minimum effective dose, where the sun is concerned, where sun exposure is concerned, is a good thing to go, right? Stuff like watering your plants or mowing your yard. You don't want to water them every single day. I mean, maybe if it's really hot where you're at, maybe you do, but there's some plants I know you don't want to water every day. You want to water them, you want to let them kind of get to a certain level of, that soaking all that up, and then water them again. Or, mowing your yard, mow it every day doesn't really make sense. Now you wait 2 weeks, it's way too long. It's a complete, it's diabolical. So somewhere in there's, depending on where you live, how much you water your grass type, all that. But there's probably an area the minimum effective. What's the least amount you can do it, but yet still have it be manageable and stay how you want it to look. So that's another area, in doctors, they give you a minimum effective dose of medicine, when they prescribe you, whether it's an antibiotic or, on the kind of harsher end of things, perhaps some chemotherapy, radiation. They don't just blast you like, to the edge of the earth, way cook you. They give you just enough to do the work that they're, attempting to do, and then no more. And especially if you're going to have to do this a few times over a course of treatment, you want to give just enough to do the work, but not so much it's hurting you worse than already the disease is. So minimum effective dose. And this goes well too, with think about your friends. If they can't come over once or twice a week for an hour or two to visit, you have a drink, play some games, whatever it might be. A minimum effective dose, once or twice a week for an hour or two. Everyone's good, everyone stays cool. If they start showing up every day for hours, well, now you don't have your time for yourself. You don't have time to take care of, the stuff you need to take around the house. It becomes too much. And then if you don't see them enough, well, then perhaps you might want to start to miss them. So there's even a minimum effective dose of how we interact with the people in our lives. And it's really amazing how delicate the balance is and how much we have to gain by getting it just right, and then how much we perhaps, if not lose, perhaps just lose some efficiency, lose some productivity, lose some sense of balance, things like that. So think about in your life, in your daily routine, your minimum effective dose of whatever it is. How much exposure do you need to news? Just enough. How much of your book do you need to read? Do you need to read it all in one setting, or you just need to read 10 or 15 pages to kind of just keep yourself interested, engaged in the story? Things like this. And in this American culture here, here in this country, and how for the people that are watching from abroad, we have this here. It's always about more. It's about abundance. It's about constant more. I need more. I need more time. I need more energy. I need more stuff. I need more money. I need more, more, more. Well, actually, you don't need more. You just need enough. And just enough is a sweet spot. So it's kind of a little bit maybe Goldilocks. Not too big, not too little, but just right. So something for you to think about, something to see where it fits in your life. That was 9 minutes. This is 9 times. This is Light Guidance. Thank you so much for all that you're doing out there. I hope things are going well for you. And until next time, take care.